This is Majo John Madden in my camper van at 4:30 in the morning on Wednesday the 16th of August. I'm a dreamer, a writer, a creative, a visionary, and one of the things I do is to have fantasy conversations with people. That's how I keep my mind alive. It's how my stories come together. And as an extrovert, I find out what I'm thinking by talking. It's what makes introverts insane about extroverts, that we talk. And it's part of what extroverts hate about introverts is that they actually wait until they know what they're thinking before they talk, and they say many fewer foolish things. So in the van this morning for the last 40 minutes or so, I had a fantasy conversation with the server Sarita at the restaurant where we've hung out. I have hung out for 2 months now. The way it wasn't fantasy is that I was writing it into WhatsApp as a long text message, which actually will go out in an hour or so when I go into the restaurant and get on the Wi-Fi. Yesterday, when I had gone to Vega, Sarah, who only recently got my WhatsApp number, wrote me and said, "Why did you go to Vega?" And I wrote back and said, what on one level was the absolutely true statement. This light is so bright it makes me squint. That I went there for business reasons. I went there because the Wi-Fi is so slow at the hotel that with as many videos as I'm cranking out, I just never get them loaded to YouTube. And I can do it 3 times faster on the big powerful Wi-Fis at the Coppel store or the Electra store. So that's true on one level. The way it's not true, the part of the truth it doesn't express, which I just wrote in WhatsApp for her this morning, is that I go there for my imagination. I'm a people watcher, and I love the street scene, and I grew up in Chicago, which is endlessly interesting and diverse. And I've been traveling for 3 years and really fueling that part of me that's always seeking what's new and what can help me learn more about life and about myself. That was especially true in New Orleans, which is it's like a little foreign city within the United States because of all the French influence and Spanish influence and black influence. It's an 80% black city. And southern, very southern, and semi-tropical. So different from the Midwest of the U.S. So I love the street scene in Vega. I get happy just sitting. I just sit here, sit there, sit here, sit there, and watch the world go by. And compared with El Diamante, where the people are the same, you see the same people every day, and there's only one street to sit on, and you see the same thing, trucks going by all day long. I mean, it's real different than what you'd see in the U.S., but gets really boring. And I've been in El Diamante a lot longer than I ever intended because my car keeps not being ready to go. So I'm kind of going stir crazy in El Diamante, and Vega brings my spirit back alive. It really does. Now, there's a whole nother fantasy conversation that I was sitting here having with Sarita after I fired off the last one of those text messages, which was I fantasized her saying, "John, did you fall in love with Maritza, her counterpart, her fellow server, and her really good friend?" And I would say, "Sure." This is all what I said in my mind as I was sitting here. "Of course I did. I mean, on one hand, of course, because she's lovely and really great person, but also because it gave me something interesting to do in my going to end up being close to 3 months in El Diamante where nothing happens. I am a romantic, even as much as I'm a writer and a creative. I love to fall in love. I do it really well and frequently, and sometimes for very short times, and sometimes for longer times. And I'm good for the women I fall in love with. Tend to have a really positive impact on their lives. Many of the women who have been lovers of me go on to do amazing things in their lives because I'm so supportive and fun and interesting and loving. Loving is probably the thing I do best, and it's the thing humans do best, but I do it really, really well, and especially well in the last 4 years since the big spiritual experience I had that changed my whole life. So, sure, of course, if I'm stuck in El Diamante for 2, 3 months, part of me is going to look around for, well, who should I fall in love with here? And she was the best answer. Yeah, in a way, it couldn't work because I'm older than her and so different from her. But in the other way, I really believe it could have worked. And if we had become a couple for a couple of months here, I think it would have been great for both of us. And I honestly think it would have changed her life dramatically for the better forever. But it was not to be. So I've accepted that. And given that that option is really not on the table now, I go to Vega, not Vegas in the United States. No, but I go to Vega, and it brings me back alive and says, there is life after El Diamante. You will eventually get out of here, and there's a bigger world and so much more of Mexico. Mexico has driven my imagination absolutely bonkers by how varied and how exciting and different it is. And I'm going to go back to that life soon, and I know I will. Okay.